Dr. Melissa Bird, PhD. What's up? Hi, how's it going? Super happy to be live with y'all again today. Plotting a revolution, doing some stuff, engaging in some mayhem and some badassery. It's Friday, and that means it's Fuck Shit Up Friday, which is always really exciting. I almost forgot to plug in my microphone. Hey, James Kelly, what's happening? How you doing? Nice to see you. Hi Lisa, how are you? I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to Fuck Shit Up Friday. It's gonna be magic. I'm really excited. So it's been kind of crazy over here, so I feel like I'm doing things at the last minute. One of the things I did was, hi Amy Ellen, nice to see you. I made a cup of tea in my Wonder Woman mug that says, this Amazon princess will not bow to any man, because I thought that was a nice theme for this Friday in particular. So I'm really happy about it. A couple of things that we're going to be talking about today is we are going to be talking about Rebelgirl. We're going to be talking about the tax bill. And we're going to be talking about judges and badasses. So that's our agenda for Fuck Shit Up Friday, and I'm really excited that you're here. So the first thing I want to talk about is being a rebel girl. Clearly, I am a rebel girl. I spend a lot of time engaging in rebellion, and that is something that I have always done and that I'm really proud of. And yesterday, I was talking to my coach, and I was saying to her, she's like, so what are some things that people don't know about you? She's like, you haven't always been a doctor. You haven't always been a PhD. So what are some things about you that people don't necessarily know? And I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, I was really rebellious in high school. Like, I'm one of the people that barely made it through high school. And I spent a lot of time sort of trying to get kicked out of high school a lot of the time. And so when I posted my blog this morning, my Friday blog this morning, I talked a little bit about some of the things that got me in trouble in high school. One of them was the dress code. So I was very invested in wearing short spandex skirts, because remember, this is the late 80s, early 90s, right? And so I would wear like short spandex skirts that I had to literally I would put them in my backpack and sneak them out of the house so that my mom didn't know I was wearing them, and then I'd get in trouble for wearing them in school. And I was a smoker back then. And so, of course, my ultimate act of rebellion was smoking in Utah, because, nobody ever smokes in Utah. And so I would stand just off of school grounds and smoke and just egg on the principal and all the other teachers to try and get in trouble a lot. And so, anyway, I talk about it a little bit on my blog, but I think the reason it's really important for me to talk about being a rebel girl is because being a rebel girl has actually informed how I engage in activism. And how I engage in activism is really critically important to me. And I always have been a reader. So I've been a reader since in first grade. I was reading on a ninth grade level. And so I'm an avid reader. I always have books going. I'm always reading things. And one of the things that's really important to me is that, yes, James Kelly, smoking is awesome. And I wish it wasn't bad for us either. That's terrible. That's a good comment, buddy. So one of the things that I've done really this week is sort of get myself up to speed on the tax bill. So Rebel Girl is actually smart, didn't really need to, drop out of high school, which I barely did, but I didn't want to disappoint my grandma. So now we're going to talk about the tax bill. So the tax bill is a really ugly bill. And for many of you, you may not understand the bill, but I'm going to not get into the details of the bill because that's boring. What I am going to get into is this. There's this really incredible article that came out in Forbes called "The GOP Has Murdered the Federal Budget and Now Wants to Round Up the Usual Suspects." It's a really phenomenal opinion piece by Stan Collender. And one of the things that he literally says in it is the GOP leadership has committed fiscal homicide. It has killed any chance for a meaningful federal budget and budget debate this year and for many years to come. Hey, Mel Buckner, nice to see you. How's it going? Welcome. You came just in time to hear about taxes. It's awesome. So there's a couple of things that are really critically important to me here. One is that Congress is engaging in the intentional misleading of people. They are literally violating the Constitution of the United States of America. Yay! No. So I think that the reason that Congress is so mad and is refusing to engage in actually doing a budget, which is their constitutional, it is constitutionally mandated that Congress has the power of the purse. It is not mandated how they use the power of the purse. Hey, Sonia. What is critically important here is they have sworn an oath on a Bible to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. And that means they have to come up with a budget process. Now, I am crappy at budgets, okay? Let's just be real. I'm really good at running organizational budgets, really crappy at running my own personal budget. I own that. I admit that. That's fine. But when I have a job working for an organization, then it is critically important that in that job, I maintain a budget. It is not, the ego cannot get in the way of the budget. You are running this nation. You have to have a budget. What is horrifying is because we've been running off of a series of concurrent resolutions, we have not had a budget in years. Now, let me just make this really clear. We have not had a budget in years. Years, people. Years. Okay, so what I want to tell you from this incredible article from Forbes is that I believe, and many pundits are saying, that there will be a permanent deficit because the majority in office right now cannot even manage to come together with a budget. So they are literally ignoring putting together a budget, which could have serious permanent consequences. The most critical consequence that I want to enumerate here on video, so when all of the masses of people watch it later can see it. This current budget, that's the tax bill, this current bill and the budget will result in a permanent approximately $1 trillion annual federal deficit without anyone even bothering to ask whether that's right for the U.S. economy. That's Stan Collender. A permanent $1 trillion annual federal deficit. This means that in many years to come, Congress will no longer even try to pass a budget resolution. Now that the leadership has demonstrated that Congress can violate the Congressional Budget Act, which, oh, by the way, means they are breaking the law to force this tax bill through, forget the distraction of the fact that in that tax bill, they're removing all the deductions for veterans, homeowners, students, old people, young people, yes, angry faces. They are defining personhood so that people can give to college funds for fetuses. They are creating all these distractions that I actually think are shiny things, because what is scary is that the congressional budget process will be nothing more than a way for the majority to do what it wants to do on mandatory spending and taxes without ever having to talk to the other party. So it doesn't matter if Democrats or the GOP are in office. If this happens, it will completely change the entire way the United States government does business forever. And we can't let that happen. And so on my blog, I posted a couple of things about what people can do. One of the things you can do is call your senators and your congressmen and tell them that you don't want them to pass this bill because it's bad law. And they're not even writing a budget. They're supposed to have a budget done by October 1st, and they're not even bothering at all. And it's horrifying to me. And so the rebel girl in me is like, y'all have broken the law. Can you imagine if I hit somebody, ran them over, and killed them, and I just kept going? That would be me breaking the law. It's a hit and run. You can't break the law. And Congress is willingly break the law because I think we don't hold them accountable. No one's going to do anything about it. And that's why they think they're going to get away with it. And I don't think we should let them. And so I really think if you go to my blog, I've listed a couple of things you can do. I'm really excited about the elections that have happened in the last little bit, because the elections mean that people are paying attention and people are angry and people are mad. And I just really think it is time for us to stand up and communicate with our Congress people and tell them enough is enough. We want a budget. There you go. There's the soapbox. Hold, please. I need some tea. I'm so glad the dog stopped running around and ringing that stupid bell like I had to go outside. Okay. Are you ready for the next fun one? We are now, the rebel girl is talking judges. Yeah, judges. Okay, so federal judicial nominations happen every time there's a president, okay? Because judges move off the bench after their lifetime appointments. I'm going to repeat that phrase. Federal judges are lifetime appointments. Federal judges are lifetime appointments. Forever and ever, amen. You cannot kick a federal judge off the bench. Every single state has a federal court where judges get nominated by the current president to be on the court, okay? The founders of this experimental nation thought that that would be a good way of making sure that the judiciary remained independent of the legislative and executive branch, okay? So, yes, Jim, I love the cat in the background too. It's pretty awesome. She's amazing. She's right over my shoulder. It's awesome. So, I am going to talk about this story right here. This story is about the judicial nominee who's never tried a case and also is married to a Trump administration lawyer. This story continues in the Business Insider. I can't ever remember which way to go. Trump is bypassing judicial ratings before making his nomination, which is leading to a substantial increase in not qualified nominees. I know that cut off a little bit. So, judicial appointments are lifetime appointments. The people who are being nominated to the current judicial positions that are open are young. They're in their 30s and 40s. They're young people, which means they potentially have 50 years on the bench because you stay on the bench until you die in the federal positions. This means that Brent J. Talley, a young lawyer nominated for a lifetime federal judgeship in Alabama, was asked by a Senate committee to disclose family members who are likely to present potential conflicts. And he said there weren't any. And he's married to one. Married to an administration lawyer. Conflict of interest, party of one. Dude, your table's waiting. This is horrifying. The other thing that is horrifying is this. Of the nominees that have been put forth to the Senate for confirmation, lifetime nominees, people, most of them are not actually qualified to be holding the bench. It's questionable whether or not they've actually ever practiced law. Hey, Kristen Soderberg-Pecco, how you doing? Nice to see you. So, what has happened is that the President of the United States of America is completely bypassing the screening process that has been in place from the American Bar Association to make sure that judges are well equipped to be federal judges for the rest of their entire lives. Sometimes those federal judges become Supreme Court judges, which should really horrify very many of us, okay? So, here's what I'm going to say. The American Bar Association, this is from the article in Business Insider, of the roughly 1,800 nominees the organization vetted up through 2016, only 2 had been unanimously voted not qualified. Just 2 in all of those years, from 1989 to 2016. Now, today, in 2017, in 1 year, 12% of Trump's nominees have been rated not qualified. I don't do math very well. I'm not a math genius. I'm a social worker. I'm an advocate. It's what I do. But let me tell you, the fact that 2 over all those years were found not qualified, and then in 1 year, we've got 12% of them being found not qualified, should really be super scary to a lot of us. So we have people, Congress, breaking laws. We have federal judges being appointed to the court that aren't even qualified to be federal judges. I give you the breakdown in color right here. See? Do you see all those unqualified, not qualified, not qualified? Okay, good. I'm glad we had that picture. No experience, lifetime on the bench. Not okay, people. Not okay. Last but not least, we are going to talk about badasses, okay? Because it's Fuck Shit Up Friday, and we should really be fucking some shit up. So, here we go. Ready? I have this really amazing friend named Melanie Childers. She runs a business called The Enlightened Badass. She decided to become a $10 supporter of mine on Patreon. I'll get into Patreon in a second. But Melanie became a $10 supporter on Patreon, and that means I get to feature her business to all of my 5,000 followers and supporters on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So Melanie is really, really amazing because she is a coach who coaches women who are running for office, which let me just say, since women are just completely killing it right now by running for office and winning for office, this is like one of the most brilliant things for her to be engaging in. And she's so good at it. So she is an executive political coach, activist, yogi, writer, and spiritual badass. But the best part about Melanie Childers is she is a candidate's secret weapon. She is so awesome. Hi, Heather McQueen. Happy birthday. Yay. Welcome to the live. It's awesome to see you. So Melanie specializes in working with progressive political women considering or running for office. She supports them and helps them lead their campaigns with integrity. And quite frankly, while we've got Congress breaking the law, and I even tweeted yesterday that I'm really certain that we should, like, what we should do is scrub the slate, put all the women in office, the whole thing, all the ballots full of women, just get rid of everyone in Congress and just put the women in right away. Women in the presidency, women everywhere, city council, county council, student body presidents, everywhere. All the leadership should be women. And I'm thinking we should do it for how long it took us to get the right to vote. So I'm thinking it was like 100-year fight. And so I'm thinking that we should like have all women for about 100 years. And then once the women are done, we can let the men sort of trickle in like they've been doing with us for all this time, you know. So women got the right to vote 100 years ago. But it's taken time for men to really get behind the notion that women should be in charge and there should be parity. So I'm thinking, screw parity. Let's just get rid of all the men. Yes, Melanie Childers. Yes. Get rid of all the men. Melanie Childers can coach everybody to be awesome, badass, superstar candidates. And we will just have on both sides of the aisle all the women. And they can run it for 100 years, and we'll let men trickle in here and here, and then we're going to see how the country really looks. Because that is all about being a rebel girl and a badass. And Melanie Childers can be found at theenlightenedbadass.com. And I have linked to her, damn right is right, Melanie Childers, and I have linked to her website on my blog today, too. And it's super awesome and amazing. And I'm just thinking we just need to replace all the men with women. Because frankly, it is time. Usher in the matriarchy, Melanie Childers for the win. This is information about Patreon. Hi, Heather. So many ladies indeed. Heather needs to run for office. Patreon is a website that collects money for people like me who are writers and resistors and causing a whole lot of trouble and mayhem. For as little as $2 a month, you can totally keep this Facebook Live going. You can keep the Rebelgirl Industries Live going. And you can help me build my Magical Amazeballs army. For $10 a month, before November 20th, which, oh, by the way, is coming right up on Monday, I will feature your project business podcast campaign, art, or writing. That number's gone up, by the way, to like my almost 5,000 people on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, which is magic. Oh, and on my blog, which is also amazing. So if you want to do that, you can go to patreon.com/birdgirl. I'd like to thank Gwendolyn Alice Kelly for this beautiful drawing. She did such a nice job, didn't she? Patreon.com/birdgirl. And you can become a patron for as little as $2 a month. You can support this madness and mayhem, which is really exciting for fucking shit up. Also, don't forget you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at birdgirl1001. Birdgirl1001, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, which is super amazing. I do all sorts of rebellious stuff on the Twitters. You really shouldn't miss it. And the lovely and fabulous Gwendolyn Alice Kelly, let's see if I get the glare off of this, did a really nice job of writing down my website, which can be located at www.birdgirlindustries.com, where I blog. You can come and get part of my newsletter if you go to the Contact Me page. And I also have my special event that's coming up. If you love watching me live, you should totally come to Massachusetts and come to my Fanning the Flames training that I'm doing, because I'm going to talk all about digging deep into your passion to make a change in your community. And that's going to be incredible. And that's happening in Massachusetts on January 17th. And space is limited. And I've already been selling tickets. So you might want to get on that train pretty quickly because it's starting to sell fast. So embrace your inner rebel girl. Do not let the tax bill go by. I know it's taxes, but don't let the tax bill go by. Please freak out about the federal judges being nominated to the bench and just pass right on through by the Senate, even though they clearly have conflicts of interest. And don't forget to fuck shit up because it's Friday. Heather McQueen, Massachusetts. I'd like to see you there, my friend. Have a super badass weekend. I'll be back on Monday for my Monday Mayhem Facebook Live. Love you guys.